Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, the 14th of March, 2024, and I am usually earlier on my morning videos, but I had stuff to go through and some follow-ups, etc. So here we are, and I'm already smoking a low-dosage joint because it's incredibly frustrating looking at social media right now. Well, it has been for several years. But before I go down any flat Earth, simulation Earth rabbit holes, I just wanted to go through my X feeds. So myself and someone else is still on the fight regarding contrails, chemtrails, and talking the last few days again because we've been at this for years, but like the access to information requests, it's only been in the last 6 months that we're getting better at being specific with the requests and who they go to and who we ask about and stuff like that. So it's luckily now gaining traction. Now there's more admittance that there are chemical compounds being sprayed all over the world, but I care about Canada and the US again, because like, again, this is like, it impacts me and my family and my country, etc. And they're now admitting it to using nonprofit insurance companies and stuff like that. Again, this is all just to make sure that there's no trails, financial trails, especially, right? Like, it's just interesting that these are nonprofits that are used by insurance companies to spray our air. And they're trying to say it's for like weather modification to help us. No, it's not. Fucking with nature, ladies and gentlemen, does not help, especially when you don't even know the reality of the world, which these people don't. How do I know that? Listen to them talk, look at what they post, listen to the CPAC interviews and panels and committees that these people are part of, and do your own research. All right? These are the people that are just lazy out there I'm talking about. And so some information back that they were asking was, just 1 second here. We just talk a lot, so let me see here. Okay. So Environment and Climate Canada, in Climate Change Canada. So these are the people that are also as part of the access to information requests. So Environment and Climate Change Canada getting back to me on chemtrails. And by the way, Climate Change Canada, the majority of the carbon tax and stuff like that we are paying is going to fund suburbia and city public servant dwellers that are creating a lot more carbon and pollution in the environment than anyone in rural areas or farm areas combined. Why? Because you have to look at what farmers and people in rural areas, what they're doing with their land, how many people they're providing for and supporting, and how much, again, they're maintaining the land, the animals, all over the freaking, like, we need more people in Canada to be in rural areas, like I've said before, and back on the land, because you need to till the land in order for it to continue to grow and be fertile. You need to graze the land with animals in order for the carbon dioxide, carbon exchange and stuff like that to happen. And so you can't just leave land barren and vacant and empty like we've done in a lot of other areas in Canada, because we've been at this fucking before with these 15-minute city centers, prisons that they're trying to push on us. And so it's just ridiculous that there's people working their asses off. And the carbon tax, me personally, because you use natural gas, oil to heat homes in barns and livestock shelters and things like that. And so for people to be so ignorant because you're living in a high-rise apartment, like, you're not growing food, you're not raising animals for food, you're not hunting, you're not fishing, you're not taking your garbage and recycling, you're not the one doing it yourself, going to dump areas or burning it or whatever, you're not doing any of that stuff. Okay, you're over consuming, you're eating chemicals and plastics and wasteful foods that are further polluting the environment, like with the Starbucks and with the bottled water and with all the other packaging in cities and now suburbs that are turning into cities. And again, this is just because of the surge during this leftist extremist government and rightist, right? Because everyone there seems to be extreme at this point. And they're voting in all these measures that are further harming us, right? So like even with Stephen Guilbeault, I called his office again yesterday because I am not scared or intimidated from these fucking idiots. He is woefully underqualified for his job. And so when I call his office, I'm like, do you know how much carbon is in the atmosphere? No, I don't. Well, that's already a red flag. Okay. And so record all your messages, by the way, when you call in, just so you have that as record and how dumb these fucking people sound too, right? Okay, so it's 0.04% of the atmosphere is carbon. I'm like, do you know, generationally speaking, like what, like that we've had like higher levels and we've thrived. And then I'm trying to talk about the grazing animals and the soil. Like these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I'm saying like your carbon tax, again, all you're doing with that money that you're stealing from us, and you're biting the hand that literally feeds you and provides for you and protects and all of that stuff. The people that you've pushed out because we can't afford to live in the cities anymore because you've surged immigration with foreign workers and foreign students and some people that are here immigrating legally, but also again, like there's financial monthly incentives that you're giving them and we can't afford it anymore. The farmers and the people in the rural areas, we can't afford it. You're bleeding rock and again, you're not harming anyone else. Like in this, like and so this is disgusting. You're talking about tax credits that are going to families. That's a bullshit fucking lie. And what are you talking about? The families coming here from other countries, taking our money that we can't afford? Because I keep on saying in Ontario and in Quebec alone, because I've traveled a lot and I have a big fucking reach in this country. People I know, their farms, they're having to close down their farms. They're having to close down agricultural feed supply chains and stuff like that. This is impacting people where they can't get their chicken feed or their hay or their food or all of this stuff literally just in the last year or two. And if you're going to increase the carbon tax with these fucking idiots, what's going to happen? More people are going to have to close down their farms, flee their fucking rural areas. And it's all because of people like Stephen Guilbeault and these fucking ignorant, entitled, soft hand fucking soy boys and girls that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, that are literally so entitled and having their whole fucking lives, never hunted, never fished, never had to like look for water, never missed a fucking meal, never had to decide, am I going to heat my house or am I going to have meals on the table for my family? They've never had to make choices like that. And so like Stephen Guilbeault, you're a fucking idiot. You need to be arrested for so many different reasons, but with the treason within Canada, with the amount of people you've impacted. And people, by the way, there's just so much to it. They like their pensions, like they can't afford to live anymore. People that have been on fixed incomes and pensions, the elderly more. Okay. And again, like my family included, things have overwhelmingly like got worse under Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister, and the deputy prime minister, and Justin Trudeau, and these fucking idiots like Bill Blair. And I could go on, and I respond to this stuff always, and they never respond back, and so, and they think we're the idiots. We don't know what we're talking about. No, actually, quite the opposite. Yeah, still doing the carbon tax hike. Like this guy, like that is treasonous, and it's crippling the country. And I just told you why, because rural and farmers, like rural people living in the rural areas and farmers, we already are struggling. And if you look at the fucking stats and the data that's available to everyone, people are having to sell and downgrade and all of that. And this shouldn't happen. The pandemic was a pandemic, like I said. The only time there was actually a fucking health emergency was when we started rolling out the vaccines. And I said what I fucking said. And I've got so many fucking, like, I have so much data and evidence that I've shared on my Rumble now that I'm just waiting for a legal team to just bring me on to be a witness at the federal level, Supreme Court level, because I have years of sending this information to all levels of government, media, experts, on the phones, doing meetings, all of this fucking stuff, and them not listening, including the VAERS reports and stuff like you name it. It's unbelievable. Yeah, and it's intentionally to distract and divide us. Just more stuff. I could go on let me look at my replies here. So Andy Lee, special Rebel reporter. She's special. I'll tell you one thing. So she also lies and there's a lot of drama in her life, and like maybe she needs to go to rehab. And as someone who's been to rehab before, like I mean that coming from a place of genuine love and concern. But like Gaza Human Rights Monument, March 13th, Ottawa, 4 p.m. What the fuck does it say here anything about Hamas or terrorists or anything like that? And Hamas being created by lobbyists, including Netanyahu, in order to go against Fatah. Anyway, this is another fucking history lesson. Like, people are so ignorant. Yeah, and so she was saying, so they won't do it, so I will. You're so tough. Who is funding some of the massive grassroots Palestinian protests in Canada? They are planning to shut down Ottawa tomorrow. I'll tell you exactly who is organizing and funding it. A thread. She's pro-Israel, and so is Avi, who is an Israeli. He was an IDF soldier, and he's bragged about murdering Palestinians before in the past. This is on the record, and so he's their main correspondent in Israel, talking about the war. And then you have Jesuit and Jew funded and sponsored Ezra Levant, right, where he gets the majority of his donations from. And so he's also very much like a danger and threat to society because he has reach and he's state funded, and he's lying to us and getting us into proxy wars and committing genocide, supporting genocides against innocent civilians. And so this was my comment to her. Why do you support genocide? Have you been to war? I have. Do you know the rule? I call it the ROEs. It's rules of engagement. No. Are you certified in the law of armed combat? No. Do you have top secret clearance? No. So shut up already. You are making it worse here in Canada and overseas, and you lie a lot. Go to rehab. And I don't care to say this stuff because like I don't care. I just don't. New data from ICE and CBP showing that Biden has deported 0.25% of the Venezuelans who have illegally entered our country. This is illegal. I'm talking about now, and this is in the U.S. And you think that there's not migration coming in and out of Canada too? You would be incorrect. So here's this liar again. Like, he has no idea what he's talking about because look at his soft little soy boy hands. Okay, it's too busy stroking dicks, of like Zelensky and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all those other fucking losers, Netanyahu, to actually do work. Saying that we're getting tax exempts and all that. No, I'm not. And neither are any other people living in rural and farm areas. Our bills are hundreds. Oh, I gotta edit that. Are hundreds and thousands of dollars extra a month since the carbon scam. You have forced farms to close. God damn it, I have to delete that and redo it. Okay, I already corrected that, but anyway, I'll get back to that because like these people need to be held accountable. Yeah, so you are pushing people who have lived in Canada to flee to other countries and into 15-minute prisons. You shred millions of acres of trees just in Ontario alone in the past 5 years, and trees also filter carbon and nourish the earth. Suburbs and cities, this was a continuation of my thread here. You are not producing your own food or animals. You are not hunting or gardening. You are not getting rid of your waste. You rely on us for everything and punish us with carbon tax. And anyway, I could go on a tangent with this stuff. Brian Lilley, a justice of the Supreme Court. That's right. A justice of the Supreme Court, a woman no less, said that the phrase "a woman" was confusing. She thinks a bit like the term "woman" is confusing. Supreme Court. So clearly she has not graduated from elementary school biology. And so she clearly cannot have a high school degree or any like academic degrees beyond that because she doesn't know, because she's confused by the term "woman." And so like my like my nieces and nephews, like they're very comfortable. Like they know the terms, they know how to just define, this. They can give examples of the differences between men and women very comfortably, and they're not like, I'm confused, I'm so uncomfortable with that. And they're teenagers, they're not even adults yet, and they can have better conversations with people than a Supreme Court justice. Like this is just like, and the red and white O2 Amanita muscaria mushrooms is not lost on me. So she should be fired. Like, no more of this woke leftist stuff. It's extreme. She was saying that we should be considered people to be like people with a vagina. And I'm sorry, person with a vagina, but I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm not a cis woman. I'm none of that fucking stuff. I am a fucking woman. All right? XX fucking chromosome, ovaries, fallopian tubes, breasts, okay? Curves, long fucking hair, smaller than a man, physically weaker than a man. Come on. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone as well, but significantly lower levels than a man. So even like that at the hormone level, like even that, there's like huge differences. So I wanted to talk about Black Rifle Company because in the media a lot, surprisingly, there are people that are claiming that they had donated to Act Blue, which is a leftist donation website, platform, whatever you want to call it, to support Democrats. And of course, Black Rifle Company is veteran owned by Matt Best, who I've talked to for a few years now. And so I asked him, I came in a little hot, so I apologize for it, but he gave me this video, and I feel bad that he's going through a smear campaign. So again,
names of the people.
He's a fucking hero veteran. And this is what pisses me off. There are leftists and rightists that have never been of service, that are fake journalists.
People, and this is
that are not even qualified to be journalists. Like, again, they're just people that are just like not minding their own fucking business, and they're attention whores. And so instead of OnlyFans, because they're too probably ugly for OnlyFans, they're doing journalism. I'm talking about the fucking Andy Lee reporters. Like, she's like, has some stuff good, but like some shit, she's fucking dead wrong, and it's the big stuff, right? So if she was wrong about little stuff, you know, like was Marjorie Taylor Greene on, you know, America's Got Talent, that's a small thing, right? Especially if you correct it. If you're fucking wrong on a genocide, on a fucking plan, like all that stuff, I'm sorry. Next. And I'm going on a list, but like even Jeremy McKenzie and these people, like I've communicated with them for years. I have been at this fight to expose the truth or reality of the fucking world for years on the record. And people are writing off my fucking coattails, again, like taking my information and stealing it and not giving me any credit still. And I've repeatedly asked these people that have platforms, I'm like, hey, we've been talking for a while. You take my stuff, you know, and of course, like there's stuff that I've gotten from you as well that like I like, you know, that I'm learning from as well. Small shit. No offense. The little shit. And that I'm not tracking. So it's interesting. Yeah, like I'll share this, you know what I mean? But it's not something that like is groundbreaking information. But anyways, never got me on a fucking show yet. I'm a veteran infantry officer, female, one of the only females in Canada that's sharing this information consistently. Like, again, because even with Tamara Leach, like she was very specifically Freedom Convoy, right? Like I have been fucking literally everything. 9/11, January 6th, moon landings, fucking fake space, fucking flat earth. World War I, World War II, Holodomor, USS Liberty, Northwoods, you fucking name it. That's been me, not these fucking people. And are these and even Viva Frei, like people that are fleeing Canada are still not supporting Canadians. Because I really legitimately think it's because it's the source. I am the source. And so they're afraid of losing viewers. And I'm telling you, you won't lose viewers by having the source, because Elon Musk, his source, Matt Taibbi or whatever, or other people that have sources, they haven't lost their fucking viewership. Joe Rogan uses people. He even brings them on his show, like even with Jamie and stuff like that. Like that's anyway, and others. He's not losing out on it, right? Like in fact, like bringing people like me on actually would fucking help build credibility. Whitney Webb has gone on so many different shows, and she's bringing people in. She's bringing more people in, right? When she started speaking on Redacted and Russell Brand and all these other shows, guess what? They started getting more fucking more viewers of people that are aware of the reality of the world. So I don't know. And then putting on people like fucking Tulsi Gabbard, an embarrassment, instead of people, and Laura Logan, Laura Logan's chill as fuck. Like Laura Logan and me, again, we should be more in the news, just like Whitney Webb, and less Tulsi Gabbard, fucking idiot, less Nancy Pelosi, less Chrystia Freeland and Melanie Jolie. because they're ruining our lives, right? They're attacking veterans, they're attacking soldiers, they're attacking first responder types, they're attacking all of us, like the fucking farmers. And they're gonna make it where they're gonna make it where farmers in Canada are gonna resort to doing these fucking protests that are not helping anyone, ruining major areas and causing disruptions and again more money for government, people that are fucking already stealing a lot of from us, right? Because when people are getting charged and stuff like that and arrested and court, like that's all fucking money going to the government. They want you to do this. So in Canada, since you're already spending a lot of fucking money on all the taxes that are getting, all of our money that are getting stolen from us with the interest rate increases and taxes increase, like by speaking out peacefully and joining the fight peacefully, diplomatically, like that's the way. Because throwing shit on parliamentary buildings, like you're not doing anything of value. You're and I mean no offense in that. Like I get that you're frustrated and upset, and you have had people that have died or been significantly injured because of vaccine side effects or lockdowns, mandates, MAID, addictions, homeless, all of this stuff. I get you're frustrated and want to do something because you're desperate, and you think that a peaceful protest is the answer, but they don't work. It just fucks us all over more. Catalyzes certain people who vote a certain way, and so it's just to target people that vote, that are voting or likely going to vote against the people that are currently in government, because obviously they don't like what they're doing. So they're obviously not going to be people that are going to vote for them. So these are the people that are canalizing themselves in areas where they're going to be targeted by these schmucks who are crazy. And the cops, instead of actually helping us and taking notes and doing the investigative reports by the people that are peacefully protesting and actually realize why they're there, instead they're fucking doing the tear gas, beating them with batons, canalizing them to arrest them.
This is what they're saying.
I'll meet this. Matt Best sent this to me. He's American. He's a veteran hero. He still puts a lot of good content out there. I really wish that he would get more involved in the politics of the U.S. because it's not like we're in great times now where, things aren't controversial. We shouldn't talk about things at the family functions. No, you need to talk about them now. You need to be less crazy. So maybe smoke a joint before you have these conversations, or I don't know, have a glass of wine, or I don't know, take your fucking Valium. But we need to have uncomfortable conversations with our family members that we've been too afraid to before, because we're fucking now literally at societal collapse. Like, I don't even know if there's even time. People need to get fired, though. Hey, why is
They're saying that Black Rifle Coffee is donating to Act Blue. Now, this is a FEC profiling report. Mm-hmm. This looks very convincing. But if you'll notice...
And Matt Walsh, man, like the moon landings are fucking fake. You call yourself a journalist? I don't even know what you call yourself. Look at my videos.
A couple indiscrepancies here. It doesn't say the name of the person that actually donated to Act Blue. So let's go to the actual thing that it looks like here. These are individual employees of Black Rifle.
Yes.
Okay.
And so these are the ones down here.
Look. And you can look at the dates and timestamps. 6/26.
That's the one.
2022. Go back to the thing. 6/26/22.
6/26.
The exact same one. Now go back to the thing. Why would they eliminate the names of the people if they weren't trying to make you believe that Black Rifle Coffee as a company was donating to the Democrats?
Yeah.
This is what a lie looks like.
This is the one right here. You can click on the name. That's the 6/26/22, right? $2.
She donated $2. If you see an FEC filing report and it doesn't show you all of these lines, they are manipulating it for the purpose of spinning a false narrative.
I just wanted to get that out there because, of course, it's a fucking veteran. I got you back. I got your back. Yeah. Anyway, even with Aaron Bushnell, people were like he's a hero in my humble opinion. And again, it's very extreme what he did, just like monks have done before as well. And this was because he was. It was the ultimate sacrifice, clearly, obviously. And as someone who has lost people in war and at home for various different reasons, soldiers and not soldiers, first responder types and not first responder types. It's like he was coming from a place of ending the genocide in Palestine because he understands war a little better than Andy Lee and Ezra Levant. And there were people that are like part of the truther community that are like friggin' like vegan soy like people or just like really uppity and really against government and the establishment. And you're also not helping because we actually do need to have a system in place of governance. We just need to have people like we have had before in the past that are honorable people, good for the job, because the fact that we've had advanced civilizations before where we've had a larger population shows that we've been more evolved. The fact that we've had infrastructure that is beautiful, where within the designs, within the structures themselves, there's like free energy harnessing capabilities and components and materials that are used, including even within like inside like the organs, for example, for healing music, harmonizing music, and with the materials that are being used, including even the glass, like the stained glass with various different colors for the light absorption when the sun is reflecting the light into these facilities, these buildings, whatever you want to call them. And so also with music, classical pieces being created, classical artwork being created, all of this stuff, this is only possible, ladies and gentlemen, when people are not in a fight or flight environment, when they're not living a subsistence life and more evolved. And so there have been times where we've absolutely been more evolved than we are now, clearly based on that alone. And I've been all over the world and I need to travel more now because of lockdowns and stuff like that. And because of my career, my work, it's made me a little bit more sketchy to do it. So I just need to become a millionaire and get a private jet and travel the world. And, but yeah, like they're like huge buildings and communities and stuff like that, like that people are just so blind or just haven't seen and just not aware of. Yuri Bezmenov, I've talked about him for years and people are sharing his stuff. Again, 2024, we're not, still haven't learned. Talks about the all the stages. I've talked about that, so I'm not going to get too much into that because I have like probably like 5 videos on Yuri Bezmenov. So Eva Chipiuk, Bachelor of Science, she's a lawyer who is also someone that's opposed to the like all the extreme measures that have been put in place. And even recently, she's also lost a lot of followers and support. Beautiful woman, and really intelligent, really fighting the good fight in Canada. And again, just like me, as soon as you start speaking about the reality of the world, if it doesn't go with what the majority is saying, then that's like the cause for the vilification, stuff like that. And she's been pretty good with a lot of stuff. No, post unavailable now. Yeah, Stephen Guilbeault. Like, I don't understand how a guy that you shouldn't even trust to watch your kids, watch your dogs. Like, I don't understand why he is so fucking prevalent in our government. Go away. Like, just go the fuck away. You're not helping anyone. I wanted to share Jeranism, Debatism X, episode X1, Craig, FTFE versus Dave, Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, The Shape of Earth. This was from December 24th. Sorry, March 12th, 2024. I'm sorry for that. So I was wrong. So that was 2 days ago. So March 12th, 2024, 2 days ago. And overall, it went pretty good because I'm going to share the whole thing. Or almost the whole thing. I'm going to scroll through areas that are really friggin' annoying. But Craig is a Globie. He is also someone that cherry picks videos and content for his channel, and doesn't show the stuff where he gets just completely destroyed and owned by flat earthers and embarrassed and humiliated. And so for some reason he's still like, I don't understand how these, like, anyway. They must buy their followers or something. I would love to talk with Dave from Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. He seems incredibly brilliant, and there's it's hit and miss, like the comments for him. I said that he absolutely destroyed Craig because he did, and then of course I had a reply from it's still up, and I'm gonna reply to Craig today at some point regarding gravity, just because he still doesn't understand what gravity is. I'm gonna like explain gas pressure, like you name it, because like he's like it's not letting me see it, but like I think Craig commented because he's been trolling every comment here that goes against him, and it's hilarious because and then he's getting a couple of his goonies, his loyal followers, like 2 or 3 of them, to just like troll every comment that is positive and supportive of Dave. Yeah, and he's hard to listen to. So the general consensus was that Craig, he was incredibly hard to listen to. Let's see here. You can see this. Let's see how many like. Ooh, Tyson Dog replied, "Done do so. So FTFE said he'll debate you. When will you do it?" Anytime. I am all day Saturday. Because I'm completely jam-packed on Saturday. In the morning, I have a meeting with a journalist in Canada. I'm really excited about that. And then I have to leave. I'm going a few hours away, and I'll be gone for the rest of the day. So I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing, but I'll be gone for several hours. I have engagements, commitments. And then I'll show you other than this Saturday. Anytime other than this Saturday. Spell check. Why am I doing that? I can't see his comments where he's saying that. So like, let me just check to make sure that FTFE actually did comment on that, because even that. But anyway, I want you to see just how trolly people can be. So my notification. Okay, so more notifications. Let's see FTFE if you actually did respond. Oh, there we go. Oh, here we. Hey. I thought I had it up. Maybe when I click it, you can't see it. Okay, so FTFE replied. By the way, he replied to so many different people. No one was embarrassed apart from the flurf. I destroyed him. Do completely was amazing. I didn't get arrested for murder. Everyone saw me win the debate completely. Like, this guy is delusional, and like he also needs spell check too. I do as well. It's like in grant, but I can't. Oh, wait. So he does this for his. Oh. There. Okay, so I did find it. So I am not one of those women that like backs down from confrontation, especially with bullies, because he's a bully and I don't like bullies, right? So Okay, so we're gonna line that up, and then now you're gonna see like how much of a like how much I'm putting myself out there, because he's not a typical globe earther, right? Like, then you could debate with people like Mark Sargent and myself, Dave Weiss, and Jeranism, and have good conversations. Check this guy out. This is Craig.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's not your turn to talk, so be quiet, shut up, and listen.
Oh yeah, and Dave from this Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, I would love to have a discussion with him. He is very, 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 very well educated, and even though he was getting intentionally annoyed by this Globey through the whole thing, it was really difficult. But he still got so many good points across, despite the fact that he was getting these deliberate distractions at him, which I think is just immature. Like, this has nothing to do with debates. It's what people like Richard Dawkins do, and those fucking like asshats that just love to just like not debate. They actually just like to verbally abuse or accost, whatever you want to call it.
Let's bring you onto the show. We've got a fun one for you. First, we've got the thumbnail for it. We've got Craig from FTFE against Dave from Sovereign.
I will 100% go on debateism, because on his show, I know what they would. I know what they do. Trust me. Yeah, so I would do it. Of course, I would do it on Jeranism's show. That's why I'm showing this debate. And so, Craig, FTFE.
Soul Unchained Mind. It is the episode.
Actually, I'll let it play, and then I'll just comment just to clarify.
Number X1 for the new format, Debateism X, which is simply, and this is a very much a test, if you will. So it may not go great, but I do thank the guys for joining me, and we're going to at least give it a try. And it looks like things are working so far. We got Craig, we got Dave here. Let's just say hello. Dave, first, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Jaron. Thanks for having me on here. I think we're going to have a good time, and let's see how this new format actually works out, man.
Let's see. And if it goes terribly, or if anybody's got any better ideas, you can leave them in the comments, and we will go from there. If you want to send a question to either guy, you can use the super chat or the Rockfin tips, and we will get those asked at the end of the show. So I really won't be watching that during the show, but at the end of the hour, we will get your guys' questions asked. Craig, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me on, Jaron. I know you and I disagree about the shape of the Earth, but I very much appreciate you having me on your channel, and genuinely enjoy having you as a moderator, because you actually make the debates, palatable to watch for other people. And I just want to take a second to say a special hi to the 3 people watching on Sean Hawkins' channel. How you doing?
It's nice of you. Great. And here's how the format will go, at least for the time being. We have each guy's got a buzzer. Basically, they can buzz in when they want to speak, and then at that point, we'll give the other guy 10 seconds to kind of wrap it up. I will allow like one each of what I'll call "give me a minute," and that's just, let's say the guy rings in and your 10 seconds is counting down, but you want more than that 10 seconds. And one time you can say, "Give me a minute," and I'll give you a full minute, rather than to mute you at the end of that 10 seconds. So that's how that'll work. You just get one of those if you need it. Basically, the goal of this is to kind of, I don't want to say teach people. That makes it sound like I know all things and y'all will learn from me. But no, I want to show people that we can have a conversation, and how that works is in conversations, we talk and then we listen. And that's basically something I don't really see much. It's everybody wants to talk. Nobody wants to listen. In tonight's show, we'll have 30 minutes each, meaning that each person will have to listen for 30 minutes, and the other person will get to talk for 30 minutes. So that's the way it's going to go down. And let's do a coin toss to see who goes first. And I guess that's the box it's going to be for. Hold on one second. Is that we'll make it a little smaller. All right, that's better. So for the coin toss, we'll let Craig go first. Craig, your choices for the coin toss are, you can either pick Debateism X or you can pick Modern Day Debate. Go ahead, choose one.
Oh, well, as I'm here, I'll have to choose Debateism X, I guess.
Okay, let's see. Debateism X, let's flip it, see what it is. And it is Modern Day Debate. Unbelievable. What a joke this whole coin toss thing is. All right, Dave, you win the toss. So do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, so that means we're going to do 1 minute intros, and Craig, you're going to go first, and I'm just going to have to think about that because I don't have a 1 minute clock, but I can find one. I'll put it on my phone. I didn't think about that, but we'll do a minute, just a quick intro. Basically, the point of this is just to say what your goal of this conversation is, and I'll stop you at a minute. I'm sure you know about how long that is. All right, let's go ahead. You're up first, Craig. 1 minute starts whenever you start talking.
Okay, so today I am here to debate on behalf of the globe and the general astronomical consensus of us being in the solar system and the galaxy, etc. My process that I always use in these debates is to rely purely on empirical evidence that can be verified. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean verified by everybody, because not everybody has the equipment to do it, but it's been verified. Everything I talk about has been verified multiple times and is empirically shown to be true. And I will be expecting exactly the same from my interlocutor today, that empirical evidence of his claims will be shown, not just saying
So
a bunch of
annoying.
things, like
Already
scientific
this part.
tests with backings and data in those tests, etc. I can present those things, and I certainly hope that my opponent here today will do the same thing. Unfortunately, in the 800 plus flat Earth debates I've been in, that has never happened. Maybe this will be the first, who knows?
And so 800 plus flat Earth debates that he's talking about, fake news. And like, he considers himself to be the winner of all debates, despite the fact that he's lost all of them, including this one. He also considers himself to be the winner, and so delusional. And already talking about like empirical evidence and facts and stuff. Like, this is like, again, like, it's just like, this is not even going to be a debate. Like, I already messaged Jeranism and said to line it up if he can. Obviously, like, I don't own him. You know, I don't work. He doesn't work for me. But if he wants to, and yeah, like, this guy is already like I know he's just going to be distracting from the science, distracting from the facts, distracting from points. And anyway, it was painful to watch. I'm not going to lie.
I'm done.
Thank you very much. All right, that was under a minute, and we've got Dave. Go ahead. You got a minute whenever you start talking.
Right on, man. So, by all observations and experiences that all of us have, we experience a level topographical stationary plane contained within a dynamic fluid pressure system. I say contained because it has to be. There is no other way. I'm going to show that the fundamental basics of the globe from Jump Street are scientifically impossible, and that this is nothing more than a big Narnia fantasy. We've got all kinds of physical impossibilities that they fly by you when you're only about 5 or 6 years old. You don't critically think about them, and you accept them as facts. And then later, if you go back and look at those very fundamental physical impossibilities that are postulated by the globe, you realize that there's absolutely no proof of this scientifically impossible condition.
All right, and we are good there. Thank you very much for that. My phone making that noise. All right, and it looks like the clocks do work. I was just checking on that, and let me reset yours because I did take away 3 minutes from you. How nice of me. And let's go back to 30. Okay, so that is it. And see, Dave won the toss. He wanted to go second. So that means, Craig, you're going to open up the conversation, and it is up to you what you want to talk about. And for as long as you want to talk, unless Dave wants to interject, you can also, if you want to ask him questions or whatever. There's by no means is it you have to ring in. And by the way, let me just check both your buzzers, make sure we're still working there. Can you ring in, Dave?
I watched the whole thing last night. And so I know it sounds like like right from the get-go, like I'm being biased, but Craig is absolutely like a snake.
Thank you. And can we ring in FTFE? Great. Thank you. Okay. Buzzers work. We're ready to go. Craig, you're starting it off. When you go, I will start your clock.
Okay, thanks. So, like I said, everything I say is based on empirical evidence that can be shown to be factual. You said in your opening there that you will show that the globe is scientifically impossible. I mean, that's something that has yet to be shown by a flat earther. They will claim that it's scientifically impossible, but frankly, it's due to a misunderstanding of science and physics. So I'd love to start there with you, Dave. Can you explain to me why the globe is physically impossible scientifically?
Well, first and foremost, I have to point to the fact that it is impossible to have a volume of gas without containment. This is the only way that you can have a gas pressure.
And do you know that, Greg? Craig, sorry?
Is with physical containment of the gas, because gas can only be in a volume if it's contained. Secondly, the idea of a moving, rotating, whirling world in a void is also impossible due to the fact that gravity is an assumed theoretical theory. And I want to back that up. Yes, I know it's a scientific theory, but I can put the word scientific in front of the word bullshit, and it doesn't make it any less bullshit. There is absolutely no empirical proof of gravity. I know you're going to go and say that science doesn't prove things, but you can never manipulate your independent variable, whereas in my concept, I can manipulate the independent variable. What I can show is that this entire system works on nothing more than the principles of buoyancy,
See, like he does the beep when he's in the middle of a fucking point.
density, and gas behavior. It's all.
Okay. You said there that it's gravity is just an assumption and there's no independent variable, etc., etc. Could you describe me an experiment where you could use the independent variable with gravity? Basically what I'm asking you here is, can you steelman our position of what gravity is and what experiments we would use?
Did you just see right there, by the way, because this is important, how Craig just asked him to steelman his gravity arguments? Okay, very important, because this psychopath tends to forget that halfway through.
Because I'm not really sure what your definition of independent variables within experiments are, but I'm sure they don't align with the scientific consensus. So could you just briefly...
And that's why I'm showing this as well. Like, I'm showing this because so many people were saying that Craig was appalling and abhorrent. Sorry, sometimes like the French and English, I get confused with my language in the mornings, but I'm showing you guys because it's annoying. Literally, even for me, like watching this last night, I was disgusted. I was disgusted and ashamed, honestly. And a lot of people were. That's why I'm showing this one. There's so many debates that Jeranism has had on, but people like Craig, I'm showing this because these are the snakes. These are the arguments that these people have, right? So I'm showing the whole thing. I want you to see what he says. All the arguments that he thinks are so fucking good. Okay, and for the people that are watching my channel, you looking at the demographics, a lot more educated, I will say, than like the average PhD. And I don't even think he's that. Anyway, but I want you to see just how rude, arrogant these types are, and the Richard Dawkins types as well. Like, he is so belittling and abusive in his debates that it's not a debate. As soon as you get people out of the the rational thinking and push them deliberately to in a fight or flight and all of that stuff, you're literally just it's a cowardly thing to do. It's hard to explain, but it's not a debate. You're just being abusive and annoying. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Spoiler alert. It's so fucking frustrating to watch, but
steelman the position of gravity and just one experiment that we use.
Okay, so I'm going to do this from the Glober standpoint, right?
Yes.
We have the proof that mass attracts mass through what we call the Cavendish experiment. And what we know, we notice over time that this phenomenon of the two weights wanting to attract to one another takes place.
Yep. So in that experiment, what's the IV?
I guess the weights.
So he's asking him a question about something that he doesn't even that he debunks, and he says that it's been debunked countless times and stuff like that, like with this theory, and it's so frustrating.
No.
Okay, what is the IV in that?
And he's saying, and I think he's actually correct, because again, this is a debunked theory, but he's talking about what's the independent variable for like these masses and stuff like that in his alleged fucking theory, and he's saying, well, I would assume it would be the mass, and he's like, no. Well, then what the fuck is it? That is literally what it is. When you're saying the larger the mass, the more the gravitational pull or whatever you're talking about, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I might think exactly, Dave, and it's straight away you.
So I'm going to do
what
it
experiments
because not only did Dave explain this great, and then anyway, sorry,
we would use. Because I'm not really sure what your definition of independent variables within experiments are, but I'm sure they don't align with the scientific consensus. So could you just briefly steelman the position of gravity and just one experiment that we use?
Okay, so I'm going to do this from the Glober standpoint, right?
Yes.
We have the proof that mass attracts mass through what we call the Cavendish experiment. And what we know, we notice over time that this phenomenon of the two weights wanting to attract to one another takes place.
So again, he already off the cusp. Him knowing the Cavendish experiment also very impressive, and the fact that he's able to discuss it and debunk it. Look at like he's already like he's fucked. And again, this is not his argument. That's not his topic. Like his arguments and like he would bring in questions and explain things that are that make sense. But like he's not even allowing him to do this.
Yep. So in
We're
that
just talking about basically fucking unicorns now.
experiment, what's the IV?
I guess the weights.
No.
Okay, what is the IV in that experiment?
I might think exactly, Dave. And straight away you have shown that you
Well,
don't
no,
know.
you tell me what the IV is in that experiment. It's
Well,
not really an experiment. It's torsion dynamics, but go ahead.
Do you know what
With
torsion
all due
dynamics is,
respect,
Craig?
you have just shown that you don't know what you're talking about because you failed to strawman the Cavendish experiment, which was the one experiment that you brought up that I asked you to. You absolutely entirely failed to explain what the IV in that would be.
No, he didn't.
So maybe we could just discuss that experiment. Could you just talk me
Okay,
through
well,
them?
hold on a second. Wait a second, Craig.
Can you just talk me through the experiment? Let's discuss it more. He already did. He already said it's not his version. He's already said it's the globe fucking theory. So why are you getting him to defend a fucking theory that he doesn't even like bring? This is what I mean. Like I got so annoyed with this already because like Craig is such a fucking snake.
Why don't you go
Hold on,
ahead?
you buzz in next time. Buzz in
You've
next
gone
time.
on for about 30 seconds now about how
Yeah,
I didn't understand the IV.
You
I would
reset my
like
buzzer.
you.
Yeah,
Can
I'm
you tell me?
Hold on, Dave. You need to buzz in if you want to talk. Go ahead. Keep going, Craig.
Yeah, so what I want to do here, Dave, is focus on your misunderstanding of the experiment that you brought up, which was the Cavendish experiment. So what we are going to do before we move on to anything else, please, is I would
Okay, go, Dave. Oh, sorry, I didn't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself, Dave.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, first off, you went off for a long time about that. What is the IV in that experiment that isn't really an
Exactly.
experiment?
We won't tell him.
right, Jerry, you haven't
It's
reset
not
my
the math.
buzzer,
What
just so
is
you
it?
know.
Oh,
Me either.
We wanna
buzzer. I see
know.
what you're saying.
It's
Thank
a
you.
fake ass
Now
theory
I got you.
anyways. We don't believe it.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say to you, Dave. I want to test your understanding of the things that you are attempting to debunk.
Craig, you're going to be tested. I'm going to be asking you questions about your fucking globe theories, and you're going to answer them. And I'll be very polite and respectful as I can be, but when you start being rude like this, I can also bring it fucking back. Okay, and that's just going to retract from the conversation, so that's exactly what you want.
And as you brought up the Cavendish experiment,
And I'm not even going to tell you what questions I'm going to ask you, but I already have 4 that I ask PhD level above globetards. Not one of them can answer it. And so, Craig, I can't wait on live TV to ask you questions about theories that globe fucking tards love to fucking push that you probably got from Professor Dave. I can't
want
wait.
to focus specifically on that. So I'm not.
And I'm going to make you nauseatingly explain flat earth theories as well, flat earth facts. All right. My facts, my theories, like what the proof that I'm putting in, since you like to do that with Dave. All right. You don't know the flat earth fucking models. You don't know the flat earth facts, Craig. So explain my arguments to me, since you are so easy to debunk them. Like you keep on doing this globe shit. I'm going to fucking spin it on you. You tell me, you explain to me.
Going. I know it. I know everything about
From
Cavendish.
a flat earth perspective, just like he's trying to do for you. We do it for you guys all the time. We give you, well, this is the globe earthers perspective. This is their and this is debunking it. Your turn.
Done it. But I would like you to talk me through the methodology
You're
of the
gonna talk me
Cavendish
through shit,
experiment.
Craig.
Please talk me through the what happens
coffee.
in the experiment according to the globe side. Over to you.
A lot of times nothing happens. In fact, we've seen video where nothing goes on for well over 12 hours. I'm not going to explain this silly non-experiment that's not even scientific to you. I want proof that gravity is a thing. And hanging some balls and measuring torsion dynamics is definitely not going to, and measuring how much something twists is not going to tell you mass is attracting mass. How did you, you don't even, it's not even a fucking experiment, for crying out loud. So what is your proof that mass attracts mass other than this non-experiment observation that doesn't take up many things into account, especially some of those apparatuses, I can see where the Bernoulli effect could take place right through that channel, just through a temperature variation that would swing that pendulum one way or the other out of the way because it's in a tunnel. I mean, it's really a gob of shit. Can you give me any proof of gravity? That's what I'm looking for, because if I can manipulate the independent variable in my idea, and I can change the weight of an object. So I can even put something in a vacuum, and when I remove the medium, which you say has mass, right? The object in there gets heavier. What the hell is going on with that? I removed mass from that chamber, and the object actually got heavier. So if I increase the density of the medium, the object will actually get lighter. This has been proven with Archimedes tests all the time. You can do that. It's not difficult, but you have no proof other than an 18th century eccentric that ate fucking lead or some shit, hanging balls in a shed. In fact, I don't even think he did the experiment himself. He set up the apparatus and somebody else did it. And this is still the thing that you're using to prove mass attracting mass. No one has ever witnessed any such thing. And this is based on the presupposition that everything you let go of falls. That's not true either. It's all based on the medium that we're immersed in. That's all. And so that brings us to the gas pressure. How do you have a downward acceleration of air due to gravity? Can you show that?
You can't.
Right. Okay. So back to the Cavendish experiment that you just ignored. We'll get to everything else that you've just tried.
So you see how he's like saying, like, all right, back to the Cavendish experiment. Let's talk about the Cavendish experiment. The Cavendish experiment. This is the only thing I want to talk about. It's everything that you're not even explaining your own Cavendish experiment yet. Still hasn't done the independent variable. And this, I just got back and I know that he still hasn't. And now he's not even answering these fucking very basic questions yet.
It's not an experiment. I'm not even going to discuss that non-experiment. Answer my question. Can you show a mass of air having a downward acceleration due to the mass of the Earth?
Sorry, back to the Cavendish experiment that you want to hand wave away. I asked you if you...
Yet again, ignoring a very fucking... Like, this is what I mean. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, he's just a bully. And I know that when we debate... like all he's gonna do on his channel, it's a big channel too, because like there's a lot of NPCs, no offense. He's just gonna cherry pick what he's gonna share, try to make me look like a fucking idiot. And again, I don't care. I've already been on international TV and stuff like that. I've like trolls come at me. I don't give a fuck. People have already been at this since Naked and Afraid, Discovery Channel and stuff like that. When I only went on that show as part of like investigative research, and yeah, so I don't care. I'm quite comfortable in my own skin.
You could describe the methodology of the Cavendish experiment and tell me what the IV was. You completely and utterly failed to do that.
First,
Showing you
have some lead.
He just
Go ahead, Craig.
you completely and utterly failed to even describe what the IV was in the experiment. So
You haven't told us what it is yet either. You haven't told us what it is yet either, Craig.
Yeah.
I've asked you
So Dave gave an educated guess. And this fucking retard who apparently knows everything about Cavendish.
4 fucking times. What's the IV? And you haven't told me.
Yeah, I know what the IV is.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, I know what the IV is, and I would like to go through the methodology. As you have attempted to debunk it, you should fully understand it. I am fully aware of what the IV is.
I'm fully aware of what the IV is. He's literally relying on the Cavendish experiment, just so we're all fucking clear how retarded this is, as to proving gravity. That is his literal, not anything observable, measurable, repeatable, nothing like that. It is literally the Cavendish experiment that's been repeatedly debunked, even by Einstein and Newton, blah, 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 blah. Even when they were alive, it was debunked. Not fucking, like, he doesn't know. And so, like, it's so painful. So I'm gonna just try to get another fucking video out there. Like, there's so many. Maybe I'll share this one. I don't know.
This is Balls Out Physics, Episode 3, Centripetal Force, Gravity, and the Sun. Now, before you watch this
Greg, if you're
episode, if you
watching,
haven't watched
take notes
Episode
now.
2, please go back and watch that, because this episode is really a continuation of that episode where we talked about the bread and butter physics equation, F equals ma, and the equation for gravity over here, Fg equals the gravitational constant, which the episode was titled,
Yeah.
times one mass times another mass divided by the distance between them squared.
Yeah, so Craig, take notes, because like if we talk, you know, I'm going to be asking you to go through these logarithms, these algorithms, and mathematical equations.
Now, in that episode,
Since you're so fucking well versed in gravity, and all you're going off of is a fucking Cavendish experiment that was already debunked, even at that time.
I focused on the fact that the gravitational constant may have been calculated by estimating Earth instead of through experimentation, as we've been told. There's really not a whole lot of evidence showing that these experiments have worked. We're told that they work. We're showed, you know, there's articles out there showing pictures of modern day torsion balance experiments that say that they work, but a lot of people out there say they don't work. And I've never seen any replica of the original torsion balance experiment that Cavendish did, or Henry Cavendish did in
What did he just say? He's never seen any of the experiment. So
1798.
right from the get-go, he's talking about the Cavendish experiment. I hope you can hear that well. I'm just going to rewind it. This is more for the Craig trolls out there.
Experiments have worked. We're told that they work. We're showed, you know, there's articles out there showing pictures of modern day torsion balance experiments that say that they work, but a lot of people out there say they don't work. And I've never seen any replica of the original torsion balance experiment that Cavendish did, or Henry Cavendish did in 1798, which I'd really like to see, because, you know, that's really where it all started. But anyway, even if they did determine this constant through experimentation, it doesn't really matter, because what I'm about to cover, in my opinion at least. So diving in, you know, this episode is really about the relationship between centripetal force and gravity.
Oh my God,
equal to
such
each
a
other,
good point.
because the gravitational force that's supposed
Yep.
to hold our Earth to the sun, make it orbit the sun.
I know, right? So that's what I mean. I try not to get wound up, because it's such low vibe, low energy. It's just that, like, the way he's talking to Dave, like from Soul and Shit, whatever, like this, like, it's so inappropriate, right? And this is how all people are like that. Like, it's just such a friggin' low vibe. And this guy, he has several videos out. So I haven't watched this one specifically, but I know that he has talked about like the different, the buoyancies and densities. And he's had different experiments that he's put out with like different materials and containers with having different fluids. And I don't know if he's done electrostatics. I know Dave Weiss has. So like, again, like gravity, like again, it's been debunked. Like there's radiating for energy, and there's gravitational energy, magnetic and electrical energy. And these forces, you know, are not as strong. I mean, depending again with magnetism, it's a stronger force, with stronger energy than electricity, obviously. But even with that, they're trying to allege that gravity is responsible for things that even magnetism, things that magnets do. And anyway, I'm going on all these tangents, but that was just a good point.
The sun is really a centripetal force, and this is the theory. Okay, so what a centripetal force really is a force directed towards the center of a circle. So a ball on a string is the best way to give an example of this. You know, you have a ball or a mass, you know, a little foam spherical Earth here, and a string representing the force pulling it towards the center. Which, in this
And
case,
spoiler alert, like I am a flat earther, and so like this globe thing that he's doing, I don't even know if he's a flat earther or a globe earther. He's just calling out the like.
Yeah, what you can say
anyways,
about the
gravity.
sun. So you spin this around. Okay, the tension in the string is the force. Okay, and that creates a velocity. The ball resists that force by traveling in a circle around the center point, or the sun.
Circle.
In the case of the solar system.
A circle.
Okay. So I have written down the equation for centripetal force over here. It says centripetal force is equal to the mass, or the ball, times the velocity squared divided by the radius. So the velocity would be the speed that it's traveling at around the circle. The radius would be the length of the string in this case. Or if you look at the solar system model, which I've got drawn right here, with just the Earth and the Sun, it would be the velocity, the instantaneous velocity of the Earth at any point around the circle, and the radius would be the distance from the Sun, and the mass, of course, would be the mass of Earth. All right? So it is the mass of Earth, not the mass of the Sun. Remember that.
Oh, this is like an almost
So-
half an hour video.
This equation is really derived.
This is important
from
too,
F equals ma.
because in astronomical mathematics, and I've shared this on multiple videos as well, But what they use to calculate distances and stuff like that, what they're alleging on, it has to be a globe with astronomical mathematics. I've shared this from ChatGPT, even proves it itself. Like it's the same calculations for a circle can be applied to a sphere or a globe, and a sphere can be a half a globe. It could be a cone. It could be a circle. It could be a triangle rotated 360 degrees or 180 degrees. Well, 360 degrees, like so many different things, right? And so I've shared that. I want to see if I can get like a better, like this is going to be a long ass fucking video. I have another good one that I put up regarding gravity, but I haven't watched that one yet. But I don't want him to go too much into the explanation because I want Craig to do it. Now I'm being like super like I'm gonna like take a look at that again and take some notes, do my own stuff, and then I'm gonna throw that in the video with him.
While I sit here drinking my apple cider vinegar.
It's shorter. This is like 5 minutes. Oh yeah, and apple cider vinegar. I have it too. Don't get it from friggin' Bragg's or whatever it's called again, because apparently, oh my God, what's her name? Katy Perry or whatever, and Bill Gates, they bought up the apple cider vinegar, like the major brands, and like that's not a good thing.
The world is supposedly rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, whizzing around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour.
Obviously, I don't believe that either. Just to be clear.
Hurtling towards Lyra at 20,000 miles per hour. Revolving around the center of the Milky Way at 500,000 miles per hour.
Sorry.
And not even a hint of a ripple on the surface of my drink. Yet tap the table lightly with your fingers and... So the Earth is moving at brain-reeling rates of speed, but you can't feel any of it because of gravity and relativity. But you can feel even the slightest earthquake. Oh, okay. Cool story, bro. The problem is that modern science has convinced us that nothing that is obvious is true, and everything that is magical, improbable, extraordinary, gigantic, microscopic, heartless, or outrageous is scientific. Keep in mind, all sciences originated from the human mind and senses, so the mind will forever be superior to any sciences that came out of it. We flat earthers choose to rely on our mind and senses more than you spinning globe believers do. While you use science, mostly second-hand theories taught in school, to support your 1,000 miles.
Yeah, like the second-hand theories that people are calling science, like without measuring or experimenting or observing within nature, like it's just like it's perplexing to me. I'm gonna keep like this guy rolling.
Centripetal force.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go back because I want you to see like what friggin' like obviously Craig and Dave. I want you to see. Because that's not my debate, it's their debate. Sorry, like I don't want to take it over.
It's in construction for years. Level.
Sorry, it was 1851 in. Okay, sorry about that.
Understand it. I am fully aware of what the IV is. My audience knows that I know what the IV is. I've done many videos talking about what the IV is. I want you to tell me why the Cavendish experiment is not an experiment, and tell me what the IV is in the globe steelman of the experiment.
Okay, Dave.
Okay, I used the buzzer.
Yep,
Did you
you're.
hear my Buzzer?
We heard it.
Okay.
Go.
10
All right.
seconds.
So, what is the IV in the Cavendish experiment, Craig? Since you know it, you spent a minute and a half telling everyone how you know it over and over and over. What is the IV in the
keep laughing.
Cavendish
I love it.
non-experiment that wasn't even performed by Cavendish? Go ahead.
So what you're doing there, Dave, is you're asking the question that I asked you back to me. So I'm just going to do the same back to you.
Not
In the
my
Cav-
experiment. I don't even acknowledge it. It's your fucking experiment, Craig, not mine. I don't acknowledge that nonsense. So what's the IV?
Now, Dave, you were the one that brought up the Cavendish. So we are going to.
You don't know the IV. Got it.
You done?
Oh.
So you were the one that brought up the Cavendish experiment, and I absolutely 100% know what the IV is. In fact, I typed it in my chat just now.
I only
but-
brought up. Hold on. No.
Hold on. Time out. I just want to know. So, are you going to answer him or no? Because if you typed it in your chat, but you don't want to answer it, I'm confused what that means.
Him it first. So if he isn't going to answer me it, then I'm waiting for him to talk me through the methodology of the experiment that he brought up and tell me why it isn't an experiment.
Okay.
I brought up the fucking Cavendish experiment because you asked me to steel man your argument. Okay?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
haven't yet.
buy the Cavendish experiment. I don't think it's worth a shit. Okay? It doesn't prove anything
Not.
at all. Okay? It's your experiment. I brought it up because you asked me to steel man your fucking argument. Okay? That's not my argument. It's your argument. So, Craig, what is the independent variable in the Cavendish experiment?
That's the question I asked you. So
Not my experiment, brother.
He tried it.
I steel man your
He said, I don't know, mass. And then he asked him,
position.
explain it.
Your
because Dave is an academic, and he's like, well, explain it to me. You tell me. I tried to explain it to you. You didn't like anything with what I was saying. It wouldn't have mattered what I fucking said. You were not going to like it because you're a bully. And not a good bully. Like you're a bully, like you're a little weak loser bully, who's just losing and insecure.
straw manning me because over my straw manning of your position. Okay, that's what you're doing.
Incredible! You just strawmanned the word strawman. That was strawman.
brother.
Good.
No, answer the question, Craig. Can you stay on fucking topic and stop acting like a girl?
100%. And what I asked you to do very first is the thing that you've utterly and completely failed to do, and that
And
is to
here
describe
again,
me-
you still have not fucking said it yet.
Yeah, he won't.
Well, maybe Dave, if you let me finish a complete sentence and thought,
Does
I
it
would
all
get-
have to start with this preamble? Do you have to have this fucking 20-minute fucking preamble to tell me what the independent variable is?
Dave, every time you interrupt me, I'm going to start from the beginning. So maybe you can practice some impulse control and be quiet and let me finish a thought, and I will get there. Because
Let
once
me know
again-
when you get to the fucking IV, right?
There we go, Dave. So as you just interrupted me, I will start again from the beginning. Now, Dave, we asked at the beginning, I asked you to steelman my position, which you failed to do. You brought up the Cavendish experiment, which you then failed to describe. I know the Cavendish experiment. The IV in the Cavendish experiment is the distance between the masses. Simple as that.
And how did that give you that it attracts one another? And especially when the results are never consistent. We see all the time that the results are not consistent. They don't come together at all. Sometimes they don't even fucking move for the whole day.
Took so long
ahead,
to
Craig.
get there.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
The
long to
IV
get there.
is the distance between the masses, because as you change the IV, the distance
But I
between the
wouldn't just do
masses,
the distance
that changes the
divided by
dependent
two, also
variable,
the size.
which
It would
is
be the
the
distance
attractive
size.
force between the masses, because gravity is proportional to the product of two or more masses, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, which means you change the
But again,
masses, you
he
change the
runs
distance between the
bullshit
masses, you change the attractive force.
How did you
Not
determine?
my fault, Dave, that you
Your
don't
buzzer works, Dave.
understand. what the
How did you
experiment is.
determine? How did you determine that it was the mass that was attracting each other? How was that determined?
Because you change the distance between the masses.
Is there
And-
other? That's the only explanation.
Exactly. See?
Dave, are you going to allow me to get a single thought out before interrupting me?
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. So you change the distance between the masses, and the attractive force changes, which is what the computation of the guess was. Because in science,
The other annoying thing is like the way like he's talking to. It's like the reason why he said a girl. Like I think he was like just like frustrated, but like like those social justice warrior types where I always talk like this because everything I say is right and you're wrong. My pronouns are z, zer, and if you don't know that, oh my God, you're an idiot. And I am so important. And everything that I'm saying, it's literally all just illusions in my mind and makes no fucking sense. And if you don't understand that, then you're an idiot. And this is how I talk. I have to talk like this. And do this.
as Richard Feynman said, you're not doing science if you don't compute the consequences of a guess, and then test that against reality. The guess, the assumption, the hypothesis is that mass attracts mass. You compute the consequences of that, which is the distance between masses changes, and so will the attractive force. Then you test that against reality. The Cavendish experiment is reality. It is testing the computation of the guess. That is how science works. It's not my fault, Dave, that you don't understand science or what an experiment.
He has no idea like the difference between like centripetal versus centrifugal, centripetal forces, electricity, magnetism. This guy fucking knows nothing.
Is you failed completely in your first attempt to debunk, and you failed because you didn't understand it.
Fail. So first off, you wanted me to steel man your position, which is already just bringing up a whole bunch of nonsensical shit like that. So you're telling me that torsion twist is that's mass attracting mass? I don't get it. Anyway,
he doesn't.
I want to get onto this because even if your fictitious gravity does exist, which it doesn't, and you don't really have any proof of, I mean, if that's the best you got is an 18th century parlor trick, I think that's pretty bad. But I'm not. Hold on.
Ring it if you want to ring it. Thank you.
Was that a buzzer?
It's a buzzer. We have 10 seconds after that. Go ahead. If you want to finish your thought.
I forgot what I was going. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Craig.
Describe the Cavendish experiment as a parlor trick. Could you please define a parlor trick and tell me exactly how the Cavendish experiment is a parlor trick?
You see, like even with that, like, and I gotta stop talking and interrupting because this is gonna be a million. Like he like a parlor fucking trick. This is how ignorant he is, right? Like the nerve to ask such a fucking basic question, as if he wouldn't know it.
Look, I took my thumb off. Oh my God, I'm magic. I took my thumb off. That's a parlor trick. Okay. Did I really take my thumb off? No. Was there any investigation done to see if I had actually pulled my thumb off? No. What it was is we made an observation and we made an assumption. Do you understand the difference between making an assumption during an observation and actually having
he keeps going
definitive proof of that? Now, here's the problem.
Jeranism, you're gonna have to fucking mute his mic when he does that stuff. Please, like I'm just asking you because like that shit, like
problem because with your mass attracting mass, right? You claim that air has mass.
Okay, correct. So yeah, correct. That's a parlor trick. Now, the next part of the question, which you stepped over, was could you please equate what you did there as a parlor trick to the Cavendish experiment? Thank you.
Sorry, you have to unmute yourself.
Asking him a lot of questions.
So just let me pause both people real quick. I'll pause just so you guys realize one more time. So when you buzz in, I'm counting in my head 10 seconds, and then I'm going to mute that other person. But when you come back, you have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. So it would be better if you just get done in 10 seconds. This way, I don't have to mute you, and you can obviously talk next time you want to talk. But if you do get muted, just make sure you check to see if you're muted on the next one. Go ahead. So you had asked him, Craig, ask one more time the question you asked.
Yeah, how do you equate what you did there as a parlor trick to the experiment called the Cavendish experiment? Please equate those.
Thank you.
Sure. You already answered it.
So you made an observation and assumed the cause.
It's just stupid question too.
Yeah, especially when it's an experiment. Is the experiment consistent every time it's performed? No, it's not, because I can show you videos of it not working at all.
No, you can.
Yes. We've seen them all. So we've all seen them, Craig. We've all seen them. I showed you my show. Flatzoid has shown it. Flatzoid has shown it. I've shown it. It's not consistent. An experiment, for something to be the actual proof of it, you have to have consistent results repeatedly with this. Okay. Now, the problem with the mass attracting mass.
Yeah, they won't even let him talk.
Is that you claim that the mass of the air is attracted to the mass of the Earth. Now, you've got this worked out to a gravitational constant.
You want your minute? You can take a minute if you want.
Yeah, I'll take my minute.
Okay, there's your minute. Go ahead.
All right. So you have it worked out to a gravitational constant of how fast things are accelerate toward the Earth. Now, of course, this is taken in a vacuum, which is an unnatural condition that doesn't exist anywhere in nature. But you have this rate of fall.
That's right.
Right? Of mass to the mass of the Earth. Can you demonstrate a downward acceleration of air or a downward pressure of air that's causing our air pressure due to gravity? Or is the air pressure actually a product of displacement of the medium?
Is how we're experiencing this gravity.
There you go.
Okay, you're on.
So yeah, back to the question I was asking, which you seem to have glossed over. You then said the Cavendish experiment doesn't give consistent results, whereas that's false. Every time the experiment is performed properly, it gives the exact same results. In fact, every time I've done it, it's done the exact same thing. Everyone in my physics course did the exact same thing. BM Verbal did the exact same thing.
Well, I was talking, so I want to get this on the record. This guy is a liar. So is it worth even debating? No, but it's going to be fun because I'm just going to annoy him the entire. Just he likes to do that with us, so I'm going to annoy him the entire time.
Gravity. Or is the air pressure actually a product of displacement of the medium? There you go.
Okay, you're on.
So yeah, back to the question I was asking, which you seem to have glossed over. You then said the Cavendish experiment doesn't give consistent results, whereas that's false. Every time the experiment is performed properly, it gives the exact same results. In fact, every time I've done it, it's done the exact same thing. Everyone in my physics course, it did the exact same thing. BM Verbal did the exact same thing. BM Marble Science did the exact same thing.
Whenever I do it and whenever my friends do it, it works. Whenever anyone else does it, it doesn't work all the time. It's so weird. But every time I do it, it works. Do you have proof of that? Have you recorded yourself live doing it every single fucking time, Craig?
When the experiment is set up correctly, it does the exact same thing. So could you please give me a particular time and provide evidence of the Cavendish experiment being set up properly and not working, giving consistent results?
So basically, what you're saying is when it does what you want it to do, then it's been set up correctly. But if it doesn't do what you want it to do, it's not been set up correctly,
Right.
even though the method of setup is the same for everybody. So that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
If it's set up and does what you want it to do, then it's correct. But if it's set up the same way and doesn't, then it wasn't set up correctly. That sounds like a cop-out to me. And it shouldn't be that fucking difficult to prove.
No, Dave, when it's set up correctly, it does the right thing. If it's not set up correctly, then it won't do the right thing.
You're
So
saying
can you
exactly
provide
what I said. You're saying
So Dave-
exactly what I said, Craig.
Yes, Dave, if you don't set up an experiment correctly, you will not get the right results. So could you please provide me an
How
instance
is
where
it set up
Oh,
incorrectly?
Okay, so like
So Dave, could you
I'm just gonna do this loosely. So like if you do like the exact same experiment using like the same friggin' like objects, the exact same objects, like no deviation, no variation, like in the size, in the weight, in the any of that stuff. And that's all you use for, it's like learning about. It's so dumb. I don't even know how to process this. Like he's literally like cherry picking, and then like we'll do things literally just to like make. He's creating the outcome, if that makes any sense. And so if there's any subtle change to to anything, the exact same fucking thing you're doing, that he's saying, oh, that means it was done incorrectly. Like I just.
please provide me an instance of when it's not been set up,
I
when it's been
just-
set up
my mind's
correctly and it's
blown.
not been given consistent
Yes,
results?
there's all kinds of instances. Even in my high school class, in physics class, a fucking physics teacher was about pulling his hair out. He says, I don't understand. He says, I had it set up correctly for the last class, and now it's not working. Now it's not working.
Evidence of any of this?
What's that? Just my own recollection. That's just one, but I've seen video of it and everything. The point is, it doesn't work consistently. It's outdated. And you're the one that wanted me to steel man the thing. I don't even accept it as anything. Okay. My biggest problem with this whole gravity thing is the fact, well, there again, you're wanting to stick to something that you had me steel man you on.
Darren, can I have my minute, please?
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. The entire purpose of what I'm doing here is to show that you do not understand the things that you are talking about. It does not matter if you do not accept the Cavendish experiment as an experiment. When you use the correct methodology and set up the experiment the right way, it gives consistent results every single time. If it's set up correctly, it works correctly. And that's it. If you don't set it up right, it's not going to work right. There is no instance that has ever been shown where it's set up correctly and does not give consistent results. You are just saying a thing. I can literally provide you with list after list after list of the experiment being done under better and better conditions. Last year, they did it using millimeter gold balls, using the same methodology, and a redesigned experiment under much smaller conditions, showing that the attractive force is even on a microscopic level, exactly as we predicted. Your claims of it not being done consistent are just you saying a thing. Please provide evidence or admit that you are just
All
saying
he's doing is just whining this for the entire minute again, and like all he does is whine.
something.
Okay. So I've seen I could show you a shitload of successful motorcycle jumps going over stuff, right? And not show you the amount of times that it's failed. And you would be under the impression
Great
also that every time somebody has
Great
done
example.
this, jumping over school buses or some shit, that this has actually worked every time. It's been consistent every time. When in fact it's not. We've just excluded the parts that we didn't like. Now, the thing is with this Cavendish experiment, this is where I was going.
He won't even let him fucking talk. Like, this is what I mean. I already dislike this guy.
So thanks for proving my point there, Dave. If you don't do the motorbike jump correctly, you don't do it and you crash. So yeah, if you do the motorbike jump correctly, then you do it right and go over the things that you're supposed to. If you don't, you crash and burst into flames, just like the Cavendish experiment. If you don't
Are we? Is anything crashing? Like
set it up correctly, it doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do, which is measure the attractive force between masses. Once again,
no
your refusal to accept this as an experiment doesn't stop it being an experiment, just shows that you are willfully ignorant.
Can you show me the attractive force between the mass of the Atmos and the Earth?
You mean the atmosphere?
The Atmos, yes. Gas doesn't have a shape.
Don't be afraid to call it what it is. It's called the
Gas
atmosphere.
doesn't have a shape, Craig.
he's not going to be perfect. That's what I mean. Like in this, like Dave, like I've looked at his other content. Like he actually has a good content. It just with people like Craig, he's not a scientist. He's not an academic. He is someone who is just an attention-seeking, narcissistic, egotistical moron, and he sees us as like easy prey. He thinks that we're easy prey, but all he does is just like straw man. He bullies, he ignores, he blocks, he distracts, insults, and stuff like that. Like that's all he does, right? And unfortunately, it can be really distracting. Like I get it, because even with me, with people that I've debated in person, like when all they do is scream and yell or distract, and when I try to get a point across, it's hard. Like it's fucking like it's impossible. It's impossible. And it's unfortunate. So like I understand people are saying that like there's no point because he's never actually going to listen and actually try to take information in and process. But yeah, like this is what people like this do, right? He's a predator.
But it's just the name of it.
Gas doesn't have a shape, Craig.
Craig, please don't be afraid to use the correct name of things. It's called the atmosphere.
Okay, it's the Atmos. It's not correct because gas doesn't have a shape, Craig.
It doesn't matter if you don't like the name of it, Dave.
It doesn't have a shape. So now back to the original question. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. You call it one thing. I call it something else. It both means the same thing. It's the very air that we're breathing and the other gases in our Atmos. Okay. So can you show me or demonstrate a downward acceleration of this air to the Earth due to mass attracting mass or gravity or whatever? Can you show me this? Actually demonstrate that there is a downward acceleration of air.
That's why we have a gradient, because it matches the predictions of gravity acting on the air. So, for instance, the gravitational acceleration, according to Newton's law, as I described earlier, product of two or more masses inversely proportional to the square root of the distance between them, means that the further the atmosphere is away from the surface of the Earth, the less attractive force there will be. That explains why we have the gradient, showing there's a downward acceleration. The fact that air also has weight shows that there's a downward acceleration. Done. Next.
You haven't, no, not next. You just said a bunch of shit. I said, can you demonstrate or prove?
If you can demonstrate and measure wind direction and speeds, why can't you, Craig? I shouldn't have even asked that question. I was going to wait for that one. How can you not measure or prove the downward?
Not just say a bunch of shit, because there's no downward pressure of the air on me from gravity pulling the air down. There isn't on anybody. Pounds per square inch when it comes to gas pressure comes to the amount of pressure per square inch of your surface of your body or anything that is displacing the medium. In order to have a volume of gas in the first place, it has to be contained. Can you show me an instance of a gas containing itself? No, you can't. It has to be contained in order to be in a volume. There's no other way. Gravity has absolutely no effect on gases, even if it existed. Everything is due to temperature, right? Think about this. And we also have Dalton's law. What is Dalton's law? All right, that's the sum pressure.
See, like he asked him what Dalton's law was. If I was Dave, I would have left it because this guy's been like, look, what's a parlor trick? What's Dalton's law, Craig? I would have been like, what the fuck is Dalton's law, Craig?
Is the amount of
he's being nice enough to actually explain it to him instead of putting him on the spot. But like I would have fucking totally done that, Dave.
Each one of the gases or elements in the mixtures, pressures added together. As we rise in elevation, we start to get some different things. You guys are always looking for a one-step solution. It's not, because we have temperature change as we go up in elevation. We also have dispersal when we go up in elevation. We also start losing some of those elements if we get up even higher, like the water.
Yep.
Okay. The bottom line is there is no downward acceleration of air. Sure, you can put a contained volume of air into a vessel and you can weigh it, but it's only that specific contained volume of air that's in disequilibrium. Now, when you put an object in a vacuum chamber, and you remove the medium, the object actually gets heavier. This is backwards to the whole thing. If the air is having a downward acceleration against an object and things, this is what's causing the pressure. The object should actually get lighter on the scale when you remove the mass of the air that's surrounding the object. So can you show me a downward acceleration of air due to gravity? It should be 9.8 meters per second squared, but you know.
And did you know that, Craig?
Yep. So well, you started with a straw man there, so everything else that you said was kind of pointless, really. You started with the straw man of gas can't contain itself. Correct. Gas can't contain it.
So I know that he's going to do this as well. So anything that I share or say, that's accurate and reasonable. Like he's just going to dismiss. And so I know that going into it. So I'm not doing it thinking that I'm going to convince him of anything. Like this guy is not going to ever admit, to being wrong. Like that's just the type of person he is. But it's just to show people just the type of person he is and the type of people flat earthers deal with on a consistent basis, because people can figure it out for themselves. Like people that are actually academics or educated can hear his like arguments and see it for what it is. And so I will try to be as respectful as possible, and I will try to come with just the facts, and then let him just fucking embarrass himself again.
Itself, but we don't say it does. Gravity is perfectly good at containing the gas on Earth. However, all of the gas in the universe, every single bit of gas in the universe, all the gas on Earth,
he said gravity is perfectly good at keeping the gases here on Earth. And it's the same thing with like helium balloons, like that already fucking debunks that point, right? So that's just a helium balloon, already debunks it. And then you've got like electrostatics, where you can actually manipulate like objects, like by connecting them to electrical outlets, and then like removing electricity or adding, and then the like a balloon, for example, being able to raise or lower. And so again, nothing to do with any kind of a fucking downward force. Craig, you are humiliating yourself. Just end your channel. You're a sellout to humanity. You're lying about the shape of the fucking Earth for whatever crazy fucking reason. And I don't understand why I don't.
Hydrogen atom out in space.
What is
every part
actually
of every
wrong with
galaxy
you?
is contained within the universe. So for you to say there is no container for the gas is just false, because every bit of the gas is contained within the universe. Specifically on Earth, it's contained thanks to gravity, and the downward acceleration is shown precisely by the fact that we have
So
a pressure
he's
gradient.
saying that the universe is the container. I gotta back this up because
Gas in the universe, all the gas on Earth, every hydrogen atom out in space, every part of every galaxy is contained within the universe.
Oh my god! So even with so anything like zero gravity, like apparently that just doesn't fucking exist. And like when you go out of fucking space and the zero gravity, what the fuck is he talking about?
So for you to say there is no container for the gas is just false, because every bit of the gas is contained within the universe. Specifically on Earth, it's contained thanks to gravity, and the downward acceleration is shown precisely by the fact that we have a pressure gradient, which you completely ignored. That answers your question. Please do not ask the same question again.
No, it didn't answer my question at all. I said, can you demonstrate a downward acceleration of air due to gravity?
Yes, absolutely. At the base of Mount Everest, the air pressure is approximately 14.7 psi. At the summit of Mount Everest, the air pressure is approximately 6 psi, showing that the further away from the surface of Earth you are, the less attractive force you are, showing there's a downward acceleration of the gas. Next.
Is the temperature the same?
No, it's a lot colder.
No, it's not. Does temperature affect gas, Craig?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay, so your whole analogy of at the base of Mount Everest and at the top don't mean shit, because we know what happens to gases with temperature, don't we?
So you're ignoring the fact that there's a difference in air pressure regardless of
No,
the temperature.
I'm not.
Okay, right.
No,
So
what did we just say?
I was just saying something. I don't want to have the buzz, so just let me talk. So at sea level in Antarctica, the air pressure is 14.7 psi. At sea level in the Bahamas, the air pressure is 14.7 psi. That debunks your claim about it being all due to temperature. Temperature is a result of the fact that there is less atmosphere because there is less attractive force to hold it to the Earth because it's further away from the surface of Earth. It doesn't matter that you don't understand it, Dave. That is the answer to your question.
Really? Because I was under the impression that we produce like all of the water vapor in our atmos comes from right here on Earth. All the oxygen, all the nitrogen, all of the gases are coming from right here on the Earth. And why wouldn't there be a higher concentration of those gases right there? We also have to understand too that the Earth is much warmer than it is when you get up higher too. So
Yeah, so why wouldn't there be a higher concentration? Because of gravity. The gases aren't produced. The gases are here on the Earth. There's not extra gases being made all of the time. It's just a conversion of
they're
ones.
being exchanged.
I was in the middle of a sentence. It's converting one gas to another. There's not a production of extra gases. The amount of atmosphere that exists in one time doesn't really change that much, apart from the tiny leakage to space. So there is no extra production to make a higher amount down here and a less amount up there. Plus, as flat earthers tell us all of the time, gas expands equally in all directions. So what we would expect if that's the case is, because there is less pressure at the summit, at the top of Mount Everest compared to the bottom of Mount Everest, is, according to your logic, a constant upward wind from that high pressure going to the low pressure. But no, because the atmosphere is being contained very nicely by gravity, regardless of your misunderstanding of that fact, Dave.
You still haven't demonstrated air having a downward acceleration due to gravity. I will point that out. You've postulated it several times, but you've given absolutely, other than your gradient, which is easily explained by the fact that we have a dynamic pressure system, which means that it's continuously heating and cooling throughout the day and throughout the night and throughout the seasons, all the time.
I mean, Craig.
I never said that any gases were being.
Craig, you're up.
Yeah, so Dave, once again, you can't just hand wave away the gradient. No, there is not a large production of gases, which if there was, and it's all down there and less up here, there would be a constant wind, as I've said. Please stop saying the same thing and just denying the evidence I presented being the difference in air pressure as you raise, exactly matching the predictions of what we say. Again, we go back to Richard Feynman. Compute the consequences. If the hypothesis is that the Earth is creating the gravity containing the atmosphere, then you compute the consequences of that, and it's that we have a pressure gradient matching exactly what we have. That is science. It doesn't matter if you don't agree.
No, that's not science. That's just you and some other asshat saying that shit. Because I was in the middle of fucking explaining that. Okay? I didn't say that. When I say the gases are produced, what I mean is going on like this, right? We are constantly, through the process of respiration, and I'm not talking about breathing, I'm talking about the Earth system's process of respiration, the exchange, use, and consumption.
So the Earth doesn't breathe. Dave, the Earth doesn't breathe. There is no
He's saying respiration, and again, like, he doesn't even know what respiration is. Like, this is what I mean.
respiration.
Like,
There is.
Oh my God.
I think he's just a paid troll, and if he's not a paid troll by by feds or whatever, or corporations like they're doing the psyops, if he's just doing this on his own fruition, I don't even know. Like, you've got to be a special kind of fucking idiot troll to do that, right? Like, harassing flat earthers who are exposing the truth and the reality of the world, coming up with completely bogus fucking assumptions that have been repeatedly debunked, and then he's doing this whole time is just trying to be insulting. And do you think Dave gives a shit? Like, sovereign soul unchained mind. You really think he actually, like, anyway?
Doesn't know
air being produced all of the time. The amount of atmosphere does not change. If what you were saying is true, as a container, then the case would be that there would be a constant upward rushing wind, which you keep ignoring. Dave, please stop asking exactly the same questions over and over again when I've answered them.
Dave?
And also, Craig, how many fucking times did you ask him to keep on explaining Cavendish, all these different, explain this, how, like, literally the first 10 fucking minutes was you just straw manning like an already debunked fucking theory over and over again. And then you're like, Dave, please stop asking the same question over and over again.
Okay, so you don't understand what the word respiration, as I said, I'm not talking about the breathing, although you breathing is part of that.
What was that for?
Okay, go, Craig.
Yes,
Go ahead, Craig. You can't fucking let me make a point, can you? I'm going to let you use up your
respiration
buzzer,
does mean breathing. It doesn't matter if you don't think it does. You can't change the meaning of words.
No, it doesn't. Respiration is the process of the exchange of gases.
You won't even let him fucking do this. Like,
No, Dave. You don't get to change the meaning of words. Just go with what they actually are instead of what
he's trying to explain it.
you want them to be. Over to you.
8th grade fucking earth science, Craig. The process of evaporation, condensation, exchanging of oxygen and carbon dioxide between plants and animals. All of this production and consumption of gases and on the Earth system is called respiration. Okay, I'm sorry you don't know that. I'm sorry you failed goddamn grade.
You're up, Craig.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. Again, there is no extra production of gases. The amount of gases that are in the atmosphere stays the same. So what you're saying does not make any sense. Please stop saying the same things over and over when I've...
The amount of gases stay the same. What are you talking about? Like, do you know like how much carbon's in the atmosphere? 0.04%. Again, I would ask you that fucking question though. Anyways, if you're watching this, then like you're just going to use that. And there's been times where it was upwards of 2%. And anyway, that's just. And then there's the.
Already debunked them. Over to you.
When you take in oxygen, you
many
produce fucking carbon dioxide.
Go.
Right?
Yes, David.
Okay, so there is production.
FTF, you're up. Go.
Every time he like embarrasses him, he just like presses the button.
Yeah, so there's no
Child.
extra gases being created. The
There
amount
was.
is the amount in the atmosphere doesn't change. There is no extra gases being.
He's saying this shit on live. That's what I mean. I want to do these debates because he's just making a fucking fool of himself.
Pumped into the
No
atmosphere
one
constantly.
said there was. No one said there was.
Okay, I'm going to stop it for a second. Just so here's the kind of the idea behind what I'm looking for is that if we now know, we basically know that both you guys think the other person is saying something incorrect. So we don't need to butt in and say, no, you're let them say what they're going to say. And then when it's your turn, say, here's why what they just said is false. And we'll move on. But to go back and forth and just keep saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what you're saying. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. We're not getting
I
anywhere.
have to keep starting. This guy's like having buzzer mania.
He is-
I have to keep restarting what I'm trying to explain.
yeah.
Was that annoying, Dave? Is that annoying, is it? Oh, I wonder why that's frustrating, Dave.
Well, it's annoying to hear the buzzer over
Because
and
you
over.
know you're fucking wrong and you don't want me to talk.
And he's laughing at this, but like Dave's not doing that to you, Craig. You're doing that to him. Like we're all watching the same fucking video. And yeah, it is annoying. And you're acting like a fucking spoiled brat, not like a child. Because again, I know children that behave way better than you do. Like you're acting like a spoiled brat, and you're wrong. You're such an entitled. Like again, he reminds me of Justin Trudeau. Like
That's all.
Trigger Boy says what?
Okay, we're gonna have you, Craig, start, and we're gonna try. And I don't want to have to mute people. I just think that's the kind of the goal is not to have
I
to.
want to finish explaining what I was talking about. I never said that there was new gas being produced. I said gases are being produced and exchanged on the surface of the earth. And so there is a higher amount of them here. We're also in the warmest area, right? And what happens is as you get up, you start losing some of the shit that's in the atmosphere, right? One, primarily water. With that, you start losing a lot of temperature, okay? It's not really hard to understand. The bottom line is,
and then even like with the atmosphere, like the higher up you go in elevation, like the increase in electricity.
this: you cannot demonstrate a downward acceleration of air due to gravity
Okay, go,
other
Craig.
than postulating it.
Yeah, my demonstration of the downward acceleration of the air due to gravity is the fact that there is not a rushing upward wind to the lower pressure from the higher pressure. I have now answered the question, Dave. Let's not go backwards and forwards. Bring up a different topic.
There's no downward wind either, butthead. Think about it.
There shouldn't be. That's not the
Well, that's
prediction.
what you're saying. That's what you're saying is there's a downward force of air. The only way air can force is when it's goddamn moving. It's not moving.
No one said it is moving. There's an acceleration.
And how's there the downward acceleration?
What the fuck
However,
is
there's
downward
other bits of air
acceleration?
in the
Craig?
way. I have demonstrated precisely using the atmosphere alone how there is a downward acceleration. Now, Dave, over to you. Please bring up a.
Yeah, let's go with let's go with a new topic. Let's.
Craig, what's downward? Like, oh my god, Jaronism. Like, Jaron, you're fucking so much.
Start something new.
patient than me.
Who's on?
The Earth being flat with data and everything to back it up.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. My second thing comes to this idea of knowing the size, distance, and makeup of the sun, and never even wondering, again, here we are with gas behavior, how it is that a mass of hydrogen could ever form under any condition. It would never attract to itself. There's no possible way. You don't ever see a gas go, oh, I'm going to become a ball of gas and get fucking dense on myself. That never happens anywhere. That's just
right.
a bunch of guesswork crap.
I'm gonna
So you have-
rewind that too, like because this is a very great point.
Of the sun, and never even wondering, again, here we are with gas behavior, how it is that a mass of hydrogen could ever form under any condition. It would never attract to itself. There's no possible way. You don't ever see a gas go, oh, I'm going to become a ball
So
of.
with all of these gases, like we're talking about, and like especially the noble gases, show me, Craig. Show me any like, just like he's saying, like where like it forms a fucking mass that is like this like alleged globe is what you're saying. Like for me, it's circular for sure. But there's other objects that can be circular, like when observed, like especially possibly two-dimensionally. Craig. But anyway, even with that, even if it was a globe, the sun, which it possibly is, like some kind of a contained sonoluminescence, like an environment, but that's also unrelated to the shape of the Earth. And just like the example I gave yesterday with a light bulb was sort of fucking, globular, whatever you want to call it. And but my floor is most certainly flat. Okay, and so like despite that, like so like even with the luminaries, the shape of the luminaries, it's unrelated. It's unrelated to the shape of the Earth, which is flat, being projected on a flat plane of inertia via hyperboloids and toroidal fields. And these fields, again, this is electromagnetism. It's a unified force, like Walter Russell discusses. And Craig, do you know who Walter Russell is? Because I'm going to be asking you to discuss his graphs and charts as well, and electricity and magnetism, and define radiation and gravitation and centripetal forces and centrifugal forces and all that other stuff.
Gas and get fucking dense on myself. That never happens anywhere. That's just a bunch of guesswork crap. So do you have any absolute, I mean, we're right back into the same boat with the gas behavior. And this is what kills you guys every time. Gravity does not, if it even exists, affect gases. They don't collect together.
Right.
They don't form shapes. This is why I don't use the term atmosphere. There are no little balls of gas floating around in a void out there where they tell me it's 10 to the negative 17 torr with one atom, and I don't know how the fuck they would even know this, one atom of hydrogen per cubic meter. Now, are these little atoms somehow got gravity and somehow pull together toward each other and form into a little gob of hydrogen and then decide that they're real heavy and crash in on themselves and then undergo nuclear fusion? Do you realize the amount of hoops your mind has to jump through to even buy into that crap, right?
So brilliant, Dave. I'm so impressed with him.
Yeah. I mean, we can literally.
And I think it was November who was saying that that Dave had us like started following me. I started following him as well. I have seen his work before, so it must have been on Jeranism or maybe Dave Weiss but I've seen him debate before, and I would definitely love to friggin' talk to him. He's very well informed, and he is definitely. A lot of that science stuff too that he gets into, he's well, like again, everyone has like their certain skill sets and expertise within the flat Earth community, and he's really fucking like impressive with the scientific stuff, and on the fly too. I'm so impressed, humbled and impressed to be honest with you.
See it happening in space.
This debate again, this, he's just being a troll, and so so Dave, honestly, he's doing really really good in this video. Look at his other videos. He is just brilliant, and so is Witsit gets it. Witsit is brilliant with his flat Earth stuff as well. Jaren, of course, so impressive.
We can literally see massive clouds of gas attracting towards each other and becoming spheres. It's literally happening in real time. Of course, you're just going to go. Sorry, I let you.
Go ahead. I'm just going to say you never saw gas collecting together ever.
Are you done? Sorry, I let you speak. I was just wondering if you could do the same for me. That'd be wonderful. Yeah, so Dave, again, we have images of it literally happening in nebulae in space. Right. Of course, you will deny that it happens, but that exactly matches the predictions of gravity. And you saying it can't happen just shows that, once again, you do not understand the thing that you are talking about. The sun being a massive ball of hydrogen matches the predictions of gravity. It is if you were to do the computation of the guess, that is the result that you would get, that the sun forms and nuclear fusion happens. So you saying it couldn't happen under any conditions is just you not understanding how things work, and that is not a debunk. Let me be very clear. Your ignorance of physics and science.
It's nothing to do with ignorance, and he's laughing at this. And this is what I mean. If you teach a kid about the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, and it's the same fucking thing, right? These are all theories or whatever you want to call it. It's not based in reality. And when people start debunking the fact that these figures exist or whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing.
It does not debunk it.
So you can't demonstrate or prove through demonstrable, repeatable experimentation a gas collecting into a mass of any sort whatsoever outside of containment. But you can theorize that there's this thing called space, and this is happening because you think that you saw a cloud of gas in outer space. How do you know that you saw a cloud of gas in outer space?
We saw the pictures. They were taken, and we looked at them. That's how I know I saw them, Dave. And I know
those are
paintings. It is incredible, Dave, how I will calmly sit here, let you finish what you're saying, but within 3.5 seconds of me responding to you, you have to open your big fat mouth and jump in. I know you have impulse control issues, Dave, but maybe take a hit of the bong that you so desperately need and calm the fuck down, okay? It is observable. We can literally see it happening in real time. The fact that you will deny that that is the case, that we can observe it happening, doesn't stop it of being observable. Okay, the repeatability is that we can look in many places in the universe and see it happening as per the predictions. I cannot go to a laboratory.
And who's this we, Craig? Like all these we can look, we can see. It's already admitted, the Blue Marble guy, Don Pettit, and fucking countless others, CGI, overlays, edited fucking images, every single one of them. And like, so he's also lazy with this. Like you can literally take the images from NASA, put them into, well, you could do a search and do like other, like just to see if they were AI edited or edited, or you can also go into to Photoshop or Paint and stuff like that, and also like just do different things with like the contrast and like the brightness and all these other things, and you could see that they're fucking manipulated. Like this guy is literally like he's clearly, I don't even know, he knows nothing.
And get a bunch of gas to form into a ball. Because in a laboratory on Earth, all of that gas has the prevailing gravity created by Earth pulling it down. It's already being formed into a sphere called the atmosphere. If you want to see it happen outside of Earth, look at all of the gas planets and nebulae and everything else in the universe that you deny exist because you have to, Dave.
I'm just going to go, because I like Eric Dubé's stuff as well. Oh, hello, my lover. My son, not my lover. That sounded weird. But the dog I love. I ain't that type of fucking parent. Don't worry. So I want to show the Cavendish. This is from Eric Dubé. I would love to do a interview. See, he would be so good with these debates because Eric fucking knows his stuff, man. He's a published author. He has like thousands of videos out. And so like he debating Craig, like that would be so fucking interesting. I keep swearing. I'm sorry for that. That would be so amazing. But this is from Eric Dubé. Let me see. Hold up. This was posted. I've got a freaking ladybug that won't leave me alone. Go away. Why do you keep following me? 2 years ago. So maybe even over 2 years ago. So again, like he's known his shit. He's been awake now, like for a very long, his whole life.
Henry Cavendish, the British scientist, Freemason, and wealthy grandson of the Duke of Devonshire, created an experiment which he...
So already where we got that Cavendish. Did he even exist? Was he a Freemason? Like Copernicus and all this? Anyway.
In 1797, Henry Cavendish, the British scientist, Freemason, and wealthy grandson of the Duke of Devonshire, created an experiment which he claimed successfully proved the existence of gravity, measured its constant, and provided accurate figures for the exact masses of the Earth, Sun, Moon, and planets. How did Cavendish achieve this quantum leap for heliocentric pseudoscience? He fixed two large lead balls on opposite ends of a torsion balance and hung them from the roof of his shed. By watching and recording slight motions of the contraption via telescope through his shed window, so his mass would not affect the reading, Cavendish claimed to have proven gravity. Two small lead balls were hung near the large ones, and any motion observed towards one another was touted as being the influence of gravity. Now, the Cavendish experiment has been widely criticized by the scientific community because never in over 2 centuries since its creation has anyone been able to replicate it. Firstly, the balls simply do.
And also, I would like to see if they were actually lead or what materials, and did they have any friggin' like magnetic properties within these friggin' like. There's so many things that people do now to lie to us, including even with the pendulums and the like all of that stuff, and having it where like the spin, like people think in tubs and with pendulums and stuff like that they continue to move because of the spin, and it has nothing to do with that. These are things that actually do stop, which proves that there's no spin. But then also, like if they're not, then they're being they're plugged in, like we're being duped. They're being they're using magnetism, or they're using or there's like a deceit that they're lying to us.
Do not always
parlor tricks
attract one another as they must for the so-called gravitational constant to be constant at all. Sometimes the torsion balance turns towards the balls, and sometimes away, as it is impossible not to give some slight tremulous motion when interacting with it. Henry even complained in his notes how often as he was performing the measurement, the contraption was still in oscillation. Secondly, since his calculated force of gravity was 10 to the 39th power weaker than the force of electromagnetism, from which all material objects are composed, there is no control for the experiment which can factor out and positively differentiate the alleged gravitational force from the known, stronger electromagnetic force. In other words, the balls could simply be attracting each other through static electricity, a known force existing in all things, billions of times stronger than gravity, and impossible to control for the experiment. Even though no one could replicate Cavendish's findings, the experiment went down in history as a great success, and is still taught as veritable proof of universal gravitation in science textbooks today.
Very interesting. And so I'm just going to go back to the debate. I know it's painful. I'm just like it's just showing you what we have to fucking deal with.
In construction.
And before I even get to this, like a question was asked about Zetetic Warrior. I have not, but I just looked at Zetetic Warrior on YouTube, and it seems pretty interesting. I haven't seen anything yet, but I mean, I haven't taken a look at any of the videos yet, but I did just subscribe, and I will take a look.
For years, level is not anything curved, okay? An arc is not a line. Level is a line. Level is a line. We actually use string levels, which is a line, okay? It's a line. It's not an arc.
Okay, time, Dave. Craig, you get the rest of the 4 minutes, 10 seconds, and then we'll do a minute outro for each, and then we'll take super chats. Oops, let me clear that.
So I get uninterrupted. That's lovely.
I'm going to mute him, and then you got 4 minutes.
Oh my God.
Thank you. So let's go back to what I was showing. Where are we? We want to bring you that vMix video, and we'll go back here. Right. So once again, you say you worked in construction. That does not mean that you are a surveyor.
And I've talked about the astronomical mathematics before, and I've showed with ChatGPT how it even admits that with like the mathematics that are being used, they're trying to claim that it's only able to be done on a globe. That is fucking false. False.
According to surveyors,
by ChatGPT.
the people that use level in practicality, in reality, the ones that are paid to figure out what level and the shape of things are. According to the actual professionals that use level, even from 1814 and then going all the way to the current definition using the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface, level does not mean flat. According to surveyors, the true level is a curve conforming to.
That's incorrect, because surveyors, like even Dave Weiss has like surveyors and countless others that are actually he has like the interviews, the Dave Weiss like expert interviews and actual surveyors on with like decades of fucking work experience saying that they do not account for any curvature, all of that stuff. So again, he just lies, and so we have to be aware of that as well. Like that he just lies.
To the surface of the Earth.
It's for his viewers. So what he does is he cherry picks. He takes like what he says, like bogus things, just like Justin Trudeau and like a lot of people in cabinet. They say bogus lies, and then that's what we get. And what you don't get is that after the bogus lies, people correct them or attempt to correct them. And that doesn't make the mainstream, right? And so this is just more of that, right? He's just trying to cater to his audience. This is never like he's not, anyway.
E.G.
A snake.
This is the surface of the Earth. True level is a curve that matches the surface of the Earth. And on this page, mctoon.net/level, Webster's Encyclopedia of Dictionaries, New American Edition, will say that level surface, a surface which is everywhere perpendicular to the direction of gravity. Gravity on a globe pulls towards the center. Then we go curvature and refraction from elementary surveying and introduction to Geometrics 13th edition, which describes level as a curved line once again. Obviously, we come back to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which describes it as a curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface. Horizontal line, a line perpendicular to vertical. Level, plummetric survey. When you do planar surveying, what this is showing, it is assumed that all plumb lines are in a parallel. That's because it's short and you don't take into account the curvature of the Earth. But if you do trigonometric leveling, you always take into
You
account
don't take it.
the curvature of the Earth, including the level surface, which is curved. Every definition of level, according to the professionals, is that level is curved. As we have here from figure 7.24 from the trigonometric leveling book, it shows the difference between what is a horizontal line and a level line. A horizontal line will be a literal tangent to your position, whereas a level line is curved, matching the surface of the Earth. It is not my fault that Dave refuses to accept reality. In fact, it is very much Dave's fault that Dave refuses to accept reality. Dave has today described and been a perfect flat earther in that he has done nothing but misrepresent what the globe actually says according to physics. He has not understood experiments or what IVs and DBs are. He has completely hand-waved dismissed because he doesn't want it to be true.
Oh, man.
I don't accept it as an experiment, says Dave. Well, Dave, that's your fucking problem that you don't accept it as an experiment. The entire body of the scientific world does. And let me be clear, Dave, you are not smarter than the entire scientific body of the world.
He's definitely a lot smarter than you. And he's definitely, absolutely a lot smarter than anyone that believes the Earth is a globe. I'm sorry. It's just a fact.
In fact, Dave, you are barely smarter than an amoeba. Do not pretend that you know what you are talking about and you have any relevance in this world. You have zero evidence for any of your claims. You will simply deny evidence of anything that is put to you because you, Dave, are the one that does not understand the things that are being said to you. Dave, you're not stupid because you're a flat earther.
Notice that there's no science. There's nothing. He's not defending the globe. He's not asking questions about flat earth. All this guy is doing is insulting him the entire fucking time. He's gonna, like, come on. And it's so it's just verbal diarrhea. Like, Dave doesn't give a fuck. But like, this is what I mean. This is like what, like, all he does, like these debates, it's verbal diarrhea the whole time.
You're a flat earther because you're stupid, right? I'm sorry, but that's how it is. And I'm not insulting you here. I'm stating a fact. Dave, you are not a smart person. You have come here today and done nothing but misrepresent my position in the globe and then gone, oh, because of that misrepresentation, I am right. No, Dave, you cannot debunk something by being consistently and utterly wrong about every word that comes out of your pathetic, childlike, incompetent mouth. You have the impulse control worse than my 10-month-old border collie. It is insufferable talking to you because you
like this is what I mean. Like, this guy, I don't know if he's married or has a girlfriend or not, but like, this guy is an actual, like, verbal abuser, clearly. And like, luckily he's talking like with people like Dave who has like thick skin and stuff like that. But like, can you imagine him being a father or a husband? Like, there's no fucking way. Like, this guy is a clearly like who talks like that? And this is live. So I'm not, if he's talking like this live, can you imagine like behind closed doors how he fucking talks to people?
You do not know how to have an adult conversation. When you ask a question, you let someone finish their sentence before opening your big, fat, stupid fucking mouth. And I'm done.
Time. Okay. Let me bring him back on. We're going to give a minute each to finish off. Wait. You can unmute if you want. Dave, I'm trying to unmute you. It's not letting me. Okay, I can put a minute on each clock. Craig, you're first. Oh, wait. Who went for who? Yeah, he had you go first.
I went first. I mean, he's welcome to go first. I honestly don't mind.
Like, that whole fucking, this is what I mean. Like, oh my God.
Up to you. What do you want to do?
And he thinks that that's a debate. Like, he thinks that by insulting people, like, this is what I mean. A lot of people that are verbal abusers, like, they think that like the insulting people and trying to humiliate them or embarrass them, which he's not doing. He's just embarrassing himself. He thinks that that's a debate. When you insult people, you've already lost the debate. I've talked about this in countless other videos. Like, as soon as you can't attack like the theories, you can't attack the arguments, you can't attack the science, you attack the person. Like, that's low level, like the lowest level you can get, right? So this is where like that's that people that are uneducated. That's so as soon as he starts insulting me, I'm already gonna know that I won. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna try to stick to the fucking facts, but like again, like it's this is what he does.
Wrong thing up. I set this up so that I could see
Can you
the
imagine talking to your mother like this?
chat and also this thing at the same time. So I put Zoom over top of the
don't know
YouTube
who
thing, and then
is.
when I clicked something, it went away. I was like, "Where's my unmute button?" So what do we got going now?
Just a minute.
What do we-
Outro. Do you want to go first or second? Since you won the
Sure,
toss.
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead. You first. Oops.
I'll go first. Okay, so and in typical Glober fashion, the only thing we've seen Craig do is say, "Oh, look, here's some cherry picked shit that I found in some books that go against reality completely."
Yep.
Right? And I'm going to put that in conjunction with "you just don't understand it." Well, okay, go ahead and do that if you want to. But I heard nothing in that last bit that you said that was nothing more than just ad hominems and calling people stupid. Here's what's stupid is you think that you see something because it's online, that it's actually real, or that it's actually authoritative, when it's not. It absolutely is not 100%. It isn't. So
I'm looking at MC Tune, as someone that was an infantry officer for 15 years, and someone that's in the international security industry, and someone that's still like does advanced firearms training, advanced driving training, all that fucking stuff. I'm looking at their page, MC Tune and stuff like that, and they're literally trying to fucking say that Coriolis effect is a fucking thing by using like the long range shooting like examples, and I find that hilarious. I was in combat support company. I was second in command of that fucking company where there's snipers and where there's reconnaissance and signals and stuff like that. I can assure you, okay, snipers, and I was also married to a fucking sniper, and I was a better shot than him as well, although he was a good shot. Okay, he was not a good person. Anyway, I have mapped out cars and traces and stuff like that for multiple long range fucking ranges, including using light armored vehicles, because I was in a mechanized battalion, Craig. Okay, I'm not just a fucking basement dwelling loser. That's like that just like looks at theories on fucking line that have already been debunked from Freemasons, and not doing the observable, measurable, repeatable fucking experiments. Like you could do the Earth curve fucking debunking. Literally, it would take you half a day, but you are too lazy. Okay, I understand that maybe being outside is scary. Okay, but you know it's a big world out there, Craig. Get out of your fucking basement and start doing the actual fucking measurable, repeatable, observable fucking stuff on the ground. Okay, like just reading a fucking book, okay? Like if you're reading a book about Santa Claus, okay? And that's the only fucking like the only thing you use to get fucking like your like research on Santa Claus. I hate to break it to you, there's a lot of information that you're fucking missing in the world, Craig. Talk about Coriolis effect. Have you even shot a fucking gun before? You know, fuck off.
I didn't see you prove.
We don't factor in Coriolis effect. Because it doesn't fucking exist. It's another fake.
Any downward.
So they must be paid. They must be paid opposition, like by some kind of like a psyops fucking corporation. Maybe John Hopkins University and Bill and Melinda Gates funds them.
Acceleration of air. You postulated a gradient due to that, but I introduced all the other variables that can be responsible for that as well, and you totally hand-waved dismissed them. You straw-manned me by having me steel man your position, and then wanted to fucking go on about a goddamn Cavendish experiment, which is a load of crap for 10 minutes. So
go, Craig, your 1 minute starts, and then we'll look at super chats if there is any. I haven't been watching. There might not be any. If you guys have any questions for either one of these guys, feel free to send in a $1 super chat. Go ahead, Dave. I mean, Craig. Oops, you're muted. Let me restart your clock here.
Okay, good job once again, Dave, on managing to strawman the word strawman. Me asking you to steelman me is not a strawman. That's incredible, mental gymnastics you use there. Dave, you just denied everything that I said and went, nuh-uh, I'm right because I think I am, even though everything that you say goes against observable reality and every part of physics known to man. All of physics disagrees with you. And let me be clear here, Dave, it's not just some physicists, right? It's every physicist in the world disagrees with you. Not just some.
He's so delusional.
Physics, Dave. All of physics in the world disagrees with you. It's not just some smart people, Dave. It's all of the smart people in the world that disagree with you. And let me be very clear. Calling you stupid is not an ad hom. It is a description. Insults are not ad homs. Thank you for having me on, Jaron.
Okay, let's go to super chats. And let me get this cleared. You can unmute, Dave. And we've got thank you very much, Crumb and Lisa Sevier and Scott for joining the club. Gleam says FTFE asked for evidence that the Cavendish experiment is getting more and more inaccurate each year, and he gave a link to.
Yeah. So of getting verbally accosted by a loser, like, I mean, it's not like I haven't, like, again, I have an ex-husband, like I'm used to abuse. And again, I was an infantry officer. I was the first female in the history of the regiment during this cycle of life. And even in my industry, like, because of what I've been sharing regarding COVID, regarding like the pandemic, especially, and with Ukraine, what's going on in Palestine and stuff like that, I have not been popular. And I've had my life threatened repeatedly and trolled and stuff like that, and called every fucking name in the book. And I don't care. So anyways, I wrote into ChatGPT because I've shared this with people before, where I'm just destroying the fucking globe Earth astronomical mathematics claims that they use. Like, oh, like the curve, we can only do the calculations like using a fucking ball. It's like, you know, it's like not the same. Like, you're fucking, no. Okay, because like I've gone through all of this with ChatGPT, discussing measurable distances between the between like towns or cities that fall directly under the Tropic of Capricorn, directly under the Tropic of Cancer, and the equatorial areas I've discussed, like the fucking seasons and the ecliptical path the sun travels above us within the fucking domed reality cosmos we're fucking living in, and even with the 23.5 degrees latitude that is beyond like the sun's limit, north and south latitude. This is also repeatedly fucking measurable, and I've said it's the same. It would be the same measurements and distances, whether this be a circle, whether this be a sphere, or a fucking globe when you're looking at it from the top down, especially. And so all I just did was just now, I just said the distances between locations on Earth are the same, whether a globe, sphere, or circle. ChatGPT, yes, you're correct. When considering distances between locations on Earth's surfaces, such as the distances between two latitudes or longitudes, the Earth's shape, whether it's considered a globe, sphere, or circle, doesn't affect the distances. So go fuck yourself, again, Craig. Okay. And yeah, and so maybe I'll just bring that up. But again, like, you're going to be like, that is not correct. That is not true. And you're the stupidest girl in the entire world. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going to be like, okay, is a fucking minute up yet, Jern? Because like this guy is fucking. Yeah, Snopes debunked it. Yeah, fucking Snopes. Yeah. Fact checkers came out as soon as COVID came out, ironically enough, or just before, didn't they? Porn addicts and people that got funded by Soros, like a couple, and they're divorced now or divorcing because they have like massive bills because the husband that got all this fucking money from Soros to be a fact checker. Again, they're not credible sources. They were literally two people in their fucking home, fact checking anyone that was speaking out against the state-funded mainstream media. And he bought a lot of escorts, apparently. So, you know, this is what I mean. Like, the fucking people that we're fighting against are just gross, vile human beings. And yeah, it's just enough is enough, right? So like we're dealing with toddlers, like type mentalities and be like people. And so that's hard. Once again, Craig brought no facts, a lot of verbal diarrhea, and Dave took that really well. And so I would like to talk to him, and because he seems like a fucking brilliant individual and a lot more patient than I am, it seems to. Anyway, so I will leave it at that. And on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.